How's it going, guys? Panther Films here, and today we're going to be reacting to Season 1, Episode 4 of The Last of Us. This episode is titled, Please Hold To My Hand. Even though I think it should be Please Hold My Hand, because that's the lyrics of Alone and Forsaken, but whatever. So yeah, last episode was a beautiful but tragic love story with Bill and Frank, where we spent the majority of the episode in a flashback and how Bill met Frank and how Bill survived and what he was doing. He was in a town, he managed to barricade it up, put gates around the town. Then Bill set up some traps and that's how he met Frank, because he fell into one of the holes. And then they fell in love. They stayed together for 16 years. They met Joel and Tess. They traded with each other. They fought off raiders. And they died together, basically, because Frank succumbed to a disease and he wanted to go out on a great final day with Bill. So they had a great final day. They got married. They had, I think, like the same meal, the same wine that they had when they first met. They both went out together. And then Bill also wrote Joel a note. And Joel and Ellie found that note and it said, you know, Joel, use what I'm saying to basically keep Tess safe, even though Tess is gone, but he's going to use that to keep Ellie safe. And also Ellie found the gun, they had a shower, and now they've got Bill's truck. So they'll be heading out towards Wyoming to meet Tommy. And then there was some other scenes at the beginning of the episode where, you know, Ellie brought up the Mortal Kombat arcade machine, she was messing with an infected, Joel left his assault rifle under one of the floorboards. But yeah, that basically covers the episode, to be honest. It wasn't much of a story progression episode. It was more of a world building episode, but it still helped Joel and Ellie's character, right? Because now Joel knows that he needs to protect Ellie at all costs. You know, that's who he is. And that's who Bill was. Bill had to protect Frank. So yeah, this episode should be focused on the Pittsburgh part of the game, which I think they've changed to Kansas City for the show. I don't know why. I guess we'll have to see. This part of the game is pretty action-packed, so we'll have to see how the show handles it. I think that basically covers everything. So let's stop dilly-dallying around with this shitty intro and get right into the fucking episode. Yeah, I really wish it would show the location of where they're at right now. Actually, that is Kansas City, right? Ellie, what are you doing? Oh. Already messing around with the gun. I'm gonna laugh if it went off. Joel comes barging in. I mean, she knows how to use it. She was in military school, right? But she's playing around with it. Which eye do I use? Which one? I don't know, though. I feel like I prefer the games version of this. But her getting a gun in the game's like a bigger moment, I feel like, instead of her just sneaking and getting a gun randomly.
Nice. How does that work?
Siphon it.
It's a siphon.
You don't know.
I know it works. No wandering.
No wondering as she just went in there alone.
This is your fault then.
What? Oh no, is it the pump book?
No pun intended. Volume 2 by Will Livingston.
That's the exact cover from the game.
I stayed up all night.
No.
Wondering where the sun
No,
went.
no.
And
I love how disturbed he looked once she started doing the puns. He was like, what?
This make you all nostalgic?
That is a winner,
Actually
though.
before my time.
Right.
It is a
Winner, though.
Yep. Line for line.
Got something else.
No. Oh,
So-
no.
Hey.
Please get rid of it.
Hold your horses. I want to see what all the fuss is about. Why are all these pages stuck together? I'm just fucking with you.
Bye-bye, dude.
Bye-bye, dude.
Straight from the game. Please hold my hand. I mean, the episode has to be called Please Hold My Hand, like I said. It's the lyric of the fucking music. Oh, theme park. This music's playing a bit too early compared to the game. Oh, it's the bridge. Well, it's a different bridge, but still. It's got far in this car, though. Much further than they did in fucking the game. Oh, that makes sense, hide in the woods. Are we going to get the campfire scene? Maybe?
Get us to Wyoming by next morning.
So can we start a fire? And freeze
Really?
Now, why am I going to tell you no?
it? Because infected will see the smoke.
No, fungus isn't that smart.
People?
Oh yeah. No shit. Imagine the gun in her bag just goes off. Oh no, she's feeding the fucking pump up again.
Because he was out standing in his field?
You dick! Did you read this?
No. I'll go to sleep.
That little smile there. I'd still be scared to sleep in the woods though.
There's no way anyone knows we're here, right?
Well, no. Unless they saw
No
the
one's gonna
car.
find us.
So even Joel's like keeping a lookout. Wonder if he got any sleep.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
You don't like coffee?
Hey, at least he gets coffee in the show. Unlike the game.
Where in Wyoming did you say your brother was?
Last contact came through a radio tower close to Cody.
Cody.
Laramie.
Jackson.
Casper.
Jackson.
What's his name?
Whose name?
Your brother.
Tommy.
Tommy. Tommy's what we used to call a joiner. Convinces me to join a group making their way up to Boston, which I did. Mostly to keep an eye on him, keep him alive.
Hmm.
That's where we met Tess. And Tommy meets Marlene. She talks me to joining the Fireflies. Of course, last I heard, he quit the Fireflies too.
So,
So now he's on his own out there.
yeah. I mean, if we've played the game, we know he's not alone.
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on?
You have to find something to fight for.
Keep going for family.
No.
That's about it.
I'm not family.
No,
You just cargo.
your cargo.
What if you don't find him?
I will.
How do you know?
I'm persistent.
Dead or alive, you'll find it.
I'm not even tired.
Got to her being asleep. Yep. Exactly like Sarah. Well, there's one way. Damn, that's annoying.
What are you doing?
We can jog right around this tunnel. Take the next ramp.
I'm all turned around.
Well, don't look at the state map. Look at the
I
inset.
don't know where we are in that either. This is my second day in a fucking car, man.
Really? It took them 2 days to get here? What the fuck? Oh, nice.
Where the fuck is Fedra?
Shit.
Please help.
Oh, great.
Are we gonna help him?
He ain't even hurt. What? Come on, didn't you not have that line of that? He didn't even hit him. What? Come on. Oh, tires are gone. Perfectly set up ambush. Must have been watching them for a while. What the fuck, Joel? I love how they've got like the dialogue for the game.
They're not gonna hit you. You stay down, you stay low, you stay quiet.
Alright, maybe throw a brick at one of them or a bottle. Oh, one down. How many are there? There's only like 3 of them? The fuck? Hello? There's like fucking 10 of them in the game. Wait, is he dead? There's another one. We know there's a third. Yep. Jesus. Ellie, use your gun. Or knife. Just do it, Ellie.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's over. We're not fighting anymore. My mom isn't far. If you can get me to her.
No one cares. Just fuck off. You ambushed us, you tried to kill us. You were very committed to killing Joel until you got shot.
You can have it.
I don't want it. I'll use that to kill you, I guess. Like... He's begging for his mom. Like, what the fuck did you expect, dude? You ambushed us. There was only 3 of them? What the fuck, dude?
I got some food in here still, and I got your light, so.
Wait, where did his bag go? Where's his bag? Joel? Uh-oh. Already? Was that the truck already? Oh, Jesus. Who's this?
Kathleen.
Kathleen.
Henry Burrell.
Sam. Hemi and Sam?
I wonder if this is the cell where my brother was beaten to death.
Oh, you were wrong.
They took back the quarantine zone.
When you were safe and protected and ratting on your neighbors to Fedra.
They put a gun to my head.
Here.
I held you in my hands.
Is she really the leader of the hunters? Like, she seems a bit too vulnerable to be a leader of that group.
I'm your doctor.
Huh. You need a doctor in the post-apocalypse.
Who did this?
We think it was outsiders.
Oh.
Found a truck.
Tommy! Not the actual Tommy from the show, but Tommy from the game. That voice did.
Maybe he found someone out there. Maybe he called these guys in. Will he live?
Fuck no. So she's just gonna kill him? Because her people died? I guess because she blames him for Henry getting out.
Find who did this. Find every collaborator and kill them all.
I don't know how I feel about her lead. Wow, what the fuck? Breach!
They're not Fedra and they're not Fireflies, so who are they?
People who took over.
People. As soon as we don't hear a truck, we move.
Right.
Fast as we can.
Not here right now. Never mind.
Are you okay?
No.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
It's not like you killed him. But
We sealed his fate.
shoot. I'm not good at this.
Yeah, you really aren't.
I mean, it was my fault. You shouldn't have had to. And I'm sorry.
Oh. Very different from the game.
It wasn't my first time.
What? Oh. Oh. Yeah. Give it a go. Seems a bit too soon for this though. We don't have that iconic scene of every shot counts.
Left hand squeezes down on the right.
Hmm.
Got it?
Make every shot count. Come on. Say it. It's probably the worst way of getting out of a building. Making all that noise. God damn, he did say the line. Make every shot count.
No sign of them. You?
Yeah.
Hmm? How the fuck did you find that? Yeah. So they were here. But I'm already kind of spoiling it. They.
Henry won't let Sam starve.
Never mind, we know it's two people.
Double the.
Oh! Oh!
Fuck! Seal off the building for now.
This is the basement, isn't it? Jesus!
Where'd you be without me, huh?
By now, Wyoming.
Oh, yeah. Walked into that one.
I mean, maybe not.
Make our way up. Come morning, I'll take a look at the city and find our way out.
Joel. You're old as fuck.
How did you know it was an ambush?
Because,
I've been on both sides.
yes!
Did you kill innocent people?
Yes! He doesn't answer that though in the game.
Come on.
I'll take that as a yes. Oh, well, that's what she says in the game.
Get up, you lazy ass.
56 years old, you little shit.
So he was 36 because it was his birthday on Outbreak Day, right?
Joel,
Shut up!
What?
what are you doing?
So,
I don't want someone sneaking up on us while we're sleeping.
You sure you're gonna hear it?
Of course I'll hear it. That's the damn point.
I mean, he's been paranoid, right? Well, at least it's more comfy. I swear to God, if she pulls out that pump bucket again.
What did you mean it wasn't your first time?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's a future episode, Joel.
You don't have to. I'm just saying.
They're bonding.
So it gets easier when you get older?
No.
The reason I asked whether you'd hear the glass or not is because I've noticed you don't hear too well from your right side. Is it because you were shot there?
Probably more from shooting.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep your hearing, you stick to that knife.
Did you know diarrhea is hereditary?
For God's sake.
Yeah. It runs in your genes.
Got
You're
him.
so goddamn stupid.
You laughed, motherfucker.
I didn't laugh.
Yes, you did.
Jesus, I'm losing it.
You're losing it big time.
There we go. There he is. Younger Joel.
Joel!
Hi. He didn't hear them. Oh, what's up, Emmy? What's up, Sam? Oh. There we go. Hey, why are you fucking playing this? No. This is part 2, dude. Too early for that. What the fuck? But yeah, another episode down. I will say it might be the weakest episode of the season so far. Mainly because it was so short. There wasn't a lot of fleshing out for certain characters, especially the raiders or hunters, right? With Kathleen. Like, I don't think she can lead this group. In the game, that group is very different. They're a bit more brutal. They're a bit more, you know, like, as soon as someone comes into the city, they're killing everyone. Like, they don't like outsiders, so they just kill people. It's cool seeing Jeffrey Pierce, who plays Tommy in the game, the guy with the beard that's, like, Kathleen's right-hand man, I think. And also the ground coming up in that basement, I think we know what it is. If you've seen the trailers, big boy's coming. I think the best part of this episode is hands down, like, the Joel and Ellie bonding time. Him laughing at the end of the episode, and, you know, just like this back and forth, like learning about like what happened to Joel, like at the beginning of the outbreak a little bit. Like, he joined this group, they killed innocent people, you know, Tommy left him for Marlene to go with the Fireflies, you know, like, learning that information is nice, because we did learn it in the game, but this is kind of taking up like the gameplay segment, this episode specifically. So it's always nice to have them scenes a little bit fleshed out in the show, especially the pun book. Even though in the game they do bring up the pun book a lot in the game, and there's some jokes that actually do get Joel, and I think that diarrhea joke is in the game too. I'm not sure though. And, like I said before, the city that they go in the game is Pittsburgh, compared to the show where they do Kansas City. I guess the reason for that is maybe the location difference. Like, they've gone on a further journey in the show than they did in the game. Like, they didn't really get far from Boston in the game, but in this they've gotten much further and they're closer to Wyoming. And maybe it's because the location they filmed at looks more like Kansas than Pittsburgh. I don't know though. And obviously there's some other big differences in this episode, like Kathleen being the leader of the Hunters, which that's what they're called in the game anyway. I don't think they're called that in the show. But yeah, this group existed in the game. They took over the QZ and took over the city, but there was no like real fleshing out of the characters. However, I do feel like Kathleen's a bit too vulnerable to be the leader of this group, in my opinion. I guess like maybe they're all vulnerable. I don't know, because they're going after Henry for some reason, and I don't know why. Because that's different from the game. Because in the game they just kill anyone that enters the city, which seems a bit more generic. But I don't know. And also another big difference would be the way they entered the city. In the game, there's like a highway, and then like the whole highway's blocked, and then Joel just goes. He looks behind him, like the road's basically empty, and then he looks forward and then just goes, screw it, and then goes into Pittsburgh. In the show, the road's just blocked, but like that part of the tunnel's only blocked, and then the rest is like a clear way. So he has to go through the city, but then Ellie gets them lost compared to the game where they're both just in the truck, like making their way through the city and trying to get to a bridge. So that's a big difference. So Ellie gets them lost in the show, which, you know, well done, Ellie. And then we have the ambush scene, which is similar in the game, but much better in the game, because there's more people ambushing them, and in gameplay you learn that, you know, you can find like maps around like the, you know, the playable area, and some of the maps talk about like the plan and like what they do for attacks and stuff and for ambushes. So that's better, like it will build a little bit. But yeah, the ambush scene was a letdown, to be honest. I was looking forward to it too. Like, you didn't have Joel saying his iconic line where he says he ain't even hurt and then just drives forward and hits the guy. Compared to the show where the guy just moves out the way of the fucking truck. Sure, it's more common sense, but the guy in the game just panics and starts shooting straight away. But yeah, I just feel like the ambush scene was a little bit better compared to the show, because you have so many people attack them. You have the music of Alone and Forsaken playing. Then you have, like, once they've crashed inside the building, the fucking the people ambushing them, like, run towards a truck and pull them out. You know what I mean? Like, compared to the show version where it's like 3 people attacking them and then they shoot at Joel and Ellie from a distance. I don't know. Also, like, in the game they have like a bus that hits the side of the truck, so it makes more sense as to why, like, Joel couldn't control the car. Like, in the show, he's, okay, the tyres are popped, but you could have gone any other way than inside the fucking building. It's just weird why they'd shy away from, like, the violence. Because it's kind of what makes the games the games, and this universe the way it is the violent nature of it. Because it's kind of weird that Walking Dead has more violence in it than this show. And, surprisingly, better action scenes. Which is weird. You'd expect a show with a bigger budget to go all out with its action scenes, but I guess not. 10 million per episode? Doesn't feel like it did. Feels more like 3 million per episode. Like, it's not like we need to see the violence of the action, but when you do, like, scenes that are meant to be violent and scenes that are meant to be action-packed, you need to do them fucking well. Otherwise, they're mediocre as shit and just forgettable. The majority of that ambush scene was just Ellie hiding, compared to the game where she's actually fucking helping out in that scene, where she's throwing bottles at the fucking hunters and shit. But granted, obviously that's AI doing it, but still. I feel like that would make Ellie a bit more involved compared to what they did in the show. And I also do feel like giving her the gun this early was a mistake. Because in the game we have, you know, Joel gets separated from Ellie, and then eventually, you know, Joel gets, like, ambushed or, like, taken down basically by a hunter, similar to kind of what happened in this episode, and then Ellie saves him. But then Joel is, like, kind of against Ellie saving him at first, but then he kind of forgives her in a way. She proves herself that she can use a gun, so he gives her a rifle and then says, like, make every shot count. In the show, he's a bit more fatherly towards her compared to the game. In the game, he's a bit more, like, reluctant, but eventually he's like, yeah, it was either him or me, and you made that choice, basically. Sam and Henry obviously showing up, but the way they showed up is different. In the game, Joel climbs through a window, and then Henry grabs him. And then they start fighting. Joel beats the shit out of Henry. And then Ellie stops Joel to show him Sam pointing a gun at Joel. And then that's kind of how they meet in the game. In the show, they just kind of sneak up on them. Or do they? Maybe they were already in the room. Who knows? It's also cool to know that in the show, Joel has bad hearing, which I think they made clear before the show started. But compared to the game version's just this tough, badass motherfucker that can do anything other than jump. It's just cool that we know that Joel's been through a lot of shit while surviving, and he's lost his hearing, his knees are bad, because he's older. 20 years does a lot to a person, especially in post-apocalyptic settings. All that stress did. It's also interesting that Ellie said that it wasn't her first time, I assume, shooting someone, which is interesting. We'll have to see how that storyline plays out in the show. That should be fun. Yeah, overall I did like this episode. I just don't think it was the best one, mainly because of the runtime. I love the dynamic between Joel and Ellie. We get a little bit more of that around this time in the game too. So it's always nice. And obviously Joel laughing at the joke. And then seeing Sam and Henry at the end, which is a nice little cliffhanger for next episode. But yeah. So far, the show's been really good. They've nailed it. I do think, however, one of the biggest issues in terms of, like, the show itself is, even though it's a minor issue, seems similar to the game, where it's like line for line. Like, it's cool and I like it because, you know, it seems from the game. But the problem with doing that is that the show doesn't have its own identity. Which I guess it really can't anyway, because it is an adaptation. But still, you know, like, I like some of the newer shit that they put into the show, like Joel laughing at Ellie's joke, Bill and Frank's episode last week. Now, granted, obviously that didn't push the story forward, but it was still a good episode. The Tendril shit with Tess, right? The more expanded version of the intro. Like, shit like that, just expanding on certain areas. I like that shit more than just getting a line-for-line dialogue from the game, because it's like, yes, we have it like every episode. I feel like episode 1 we had you know, drugs, I do hardcore drugs and stuff like that, with Sarah. Episode 2, we had the scene in the Capitol. Episode 3, we had the scene at the end where Joel talks about, like, you know, you don't bring up Tess ever. And then this episode, you have, like, the magazine scene, and then you have, I think that's it, right? That was the only other scene. I guess you had the puns stuff, but I can't remember what they did in terms of dialogue for that. But still, like, I do love having some of the same scenes from the game, but I love the original shit a little bit more. Now, granted, obviously, Kathleen and that group right now is a little bit iffy. We'll have to see how it's handled next episode. I just don't think she can lead a group like that. Also, her killing the Doctor was fucking stupid. Like, really? Why would you kill the Doctor? You need doctors in post-apocalyptic settings, like, to save people. Just because her people died, she killed him because she thought it was fucking Henry that did it, when it was actually Joel. God damn it, dude. Yeah, that basically wraps up the shitty review. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Ta-ta and farewell.